What's up, everybody? It's your boy Andrew L. Case. You are now tuned into the Middle Initial Podcast. Today is February 12th, 2024. And I'm here with my co-hosts, as usual, Jude A. Jackson and Kevin A. Lewis. Jude, say what's up to the people.
What's up, everyone? Hope things are going well. I hope everyone had a great Super Bowl Sunday. Got to win those squares or do whatever. I hope it was a good Sunday for everyone.
I think it's boxes, but we'll do the
Boxes.
Hollywood squares, however they do it. Big Kev, what's going on, bro?
Hey man, not much. Somebody is a 3-time Super Bowl MVP as of yesterday night. So life is good. I mean, word to Future and Drake. Life is good, man. I mean,
Life is good.
Life is good.
Red bottoms.
Life is good. So that's how it's supposed to be.
Hey man, Mahomes and them boys did it again. This is going to be our Super Bowl recap episode. So we'll jump right into the show.
You are now tuned in to the Middle Initial Podcast, bitch. Now everybody pod nowadays, but it pays when you listen to Drew, Kevin, Case. And in case you missed it, get your spirits lifted. Man, New York's getting covered just to be specific. When the beast will kick it, you get back. Yeah, listen one time, I promise you come back. Now we switching up a topic, you know that we come pack. Now I don't want to say it, but bitch, we want blacks. In fact, we need that. Cause ain't nobody talk like the boys. It don't matter who you like or employ. We've been the best for a minute. Big brains could've went to MIT. But we like talking shit, here's the MIP.
Shout out to y'all. If you're not a hater, please click that like, please click that subscribe. Give us 5 stars on Spotify and on Apple. Make sure you spread the word. Join the Patreon. Only $5. Get exclusive access to the Discord. You know what I mean? And my pod, Black Diamond Baseball, is coming soon. Shout out to Hugo. Shout out to Maddie. We're cooking up something. There's a new channel coming soon. So pay attention. Focus on that. And of course, if you're on Instagram and if you're on social media at all, follow us at MIPod69. And of course, you're on TikTok, follow us at middle_initial_pod on the ticketed talk. Let's start this where, most of us are expecting to start. The Chiefs have done it again. The Chiefs are the Super Bowl champions. This is a Super Bowl recap episode. And I know Kev has a lot to say. So I'm going to let Jude start up. What's going on, Jude?
Well, it was. I won't say it was a good game in the fourth quarter and overtime. The first 3 quarters were really kind of like a drag. It was good defense, but it was kind of like a drag to watch. Christian McCaffrey was like the leading receiver halfway through the game, and Nicole Hardman was somehow the best receiver. So yeah, it was kind of like.
Hold on. All right. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Oh no.
I'm so sorry. Bro, I've heard from Jude for years and years and years. I love defense, defense, throw it back, this, that. Listen, the slop notwithstanding, because there was some slop in that game for 3 quarters. It was compelling, and they were both playing good defense.
Yeah, they were.
So why were you of all people bored by this? That's what I don't understand. It wasn't compelling enough for you. I don't like what. Given what you say, like mind you, I'm not just pulling this shit out of my ass. Like this is what you've been saying for like
this is
I've
the
known you for 7 years. This is what you've been saying the whole
Jude
time.
Ball.
So how did that not entertain you?
This is Jude Ball.
Or is this yet another case of you not knowing what the fuck you actually like? But go ahead. I'll let you
No, I'm just saying it was good defense. It was good defense. It was a little bit sloppy in some spots. The play calling was kind of like iffy for a little bit, but it got better in the fourth quarter when they started scoring. I was like, oh, okay, this is fun. This is cool. This is exciting. Before that, it was kind of, but I appreciated the good defense by both teams. I actually really did appreciate the good defense by both teams, and it kind of feels like I know you're both skeptical, but yes, I appreciate that. Now, here's one thing I do want to say, a hot take. Kyle Shanahan might very well be the NFC's version of Sean McDermott. And the reason I say this is because, yes, Kyle Shanahan is a better coach than Sean McDermott, but in the same high-pressure situations, same close games, his sphincter tightens up like you wouldn't believe. I don't know what happens. I don't know what's going on, but we're seeing it's a trend now in 3 Super Bowls. Blows 10-point leads versus the Chiefs 2 times, blows that crazy lead versus the Patriots in that Super Bowl. So, yeah, that's my hot take.
I don't know if that's a hot take. Don't know if that's a hot take because you're not really taking much risk saying that. So I don't know if it's a hot take. But, It's fair.
I think this is a ceiling.
That's hot as hell for Jude, bro. On this show, it's hot as hell for Jude. That's hot. That's Jamaica in July hot for Jude, bro.
This is a ceiling. Like what we're seeing right now, Kyle Shanahan is a ceiling. I really am not sure you can win.
Mute your mic. Mute your mic. I told you in the Discord. I don't want to hear ceiling. I don't hear floor. I don't hear none of that shit no more. No more cliches. Please, no more cliches. No more.
I don't know what point you're trying to make when you're telling me the ceiling is losing the Super Bowl with 3 seconds left in overtime. I don't know what you're really trying to tell me when you say that.
That's not a ceiling. That's not a ceiling.
But the ceiling is like 2 breaks from being a champion.
Right.
So like, what are you trying to tell me when you tell me that?
He can't get over the hump. It's cliche. It's super cliche.
But how can you tell me that when he's lost that the way he's lost 3 times? Like that doesn't add up. Like fuck the Falcons game for a minute. Like throw that out. Like he was head coach for 2, and it's like some of it, a lot of it, one could claim is just Pat doing Pat type stuff. And yes, the Chiefs' defense this time around was way better than they were the first time around. Fine, but like they lost the Super Bowl with 3 seconds off of the clock. Like, this is the ceiling. Okay, so the ceiling is, hey man, you get a break here, you get a break there. You're the ones with the confetti raining down your head instead. So, what is the grand point being made here? Is I just if this is the ceiling, you sign up for it. It's kind of what I'm saying. Especially coming from you, of all people. If this is the fucking ceiling, you sign up for it.
Yes, I would sign up for Kyle Shanahan, but from Niners fans who may have super high
right. So if you would sign up for it knowing how you are, why make the point? What was the point of the point?
It was to say maybe he can't get over the hump. That's what I'm saying. Because if he can't beat Patrick Mahomes,
okay, but like if you say maybe he can't get over the hump, then that has to be followed by something. That's the only way. That's the only way this makes sense. Like if he can't get over the hump, maybe you got to move in a different direction. Because if you're saying he's the NFC's McDermott, McDermott should have been fired like 3 years ago. So, what is the final point you're trying to make here?
I mean, I don't want to get too hot and say he's going. I can't see a world where he's going to get fired. I can't see a world when anyone's better.
No, I'm asking what they should do. I don't give a fuck what's going to happen. We know he ain't going to get fired. What should the fucking 49ers do? Since you're telling me that this is the ceiling, he can't break through the ceiling. And if they're trying to win a championship and his ceiling is get close but not win, what are they supposed to do then?
The only thing I can think of is get a better. I mean, I can't even say get a better quarterback because Brock Purdy's played well enough as it is. So it's like get their own Patrick Mahomes. That's literally the only thing I can think of at the moment because it's like everything else just wouldn't make that much sense. I mean, you can't.
God bless and good luck to them on that.
Yeah.
So basically. Yeah. You kind of just have to run it back and hope for the best.
Pretty much.
Which kind of makes the ceiling point useless.
Moot. Stop saying it.
I thought I was spitting. I thought I was spitting with that. I told you
in the Discord. No more ceiling talk. No more floor raising talk. Stop it. The cliches, the colloquialism.
You're not spitting. No.
No.
Or spitting or any of those things.
No.
I do have one last thing to say. Patrick Mahomes, everyone else is playing for second place until proven otherwise. That's my other take. Everyone else is playing.
We're gonna get into the Mahomes thing. We're gonna get into the Shanahan thing a little bit later. I want to get into the atmosphere of the Super Bowl and the Super Bowl itself before we start getting into the certain subject material. Super Bowl didn't feel super exciting for me, at least, and I'm not saying this in a negative way. It just didn't feel like a lot of energy was in the air. It just felt like the Super Bowl featuring Taylor Swift. That's what it felt like. And I know people are, Taylor Swift this, Taylor Swift that. Yeah, it did feel like that because it seemed like every other play, the camera kept panning to her. And I know they need ratings and women and Swifties and stuff like that. But it just seemed like, okay, I get why the conspiracy theorists and all these people are getting so pissed off by it because
God, we did not have to give to them fucking.
I'm not giving them any credit for anything. I'm just saying I can understand why people are getting a little bit annoyed by it, right? So low key, I want San Francisco to win because the evil side of me, I want to see her cry. I'm sorry. I'm admitting. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
don't shadow ban me. Don't dox me. But the evil side
he said
of me,
that. Not
evil
me.
side of me wanted to see San Francisco win and for her to be like, oh my God, come to me, my big, strong Kelsey, man, and all that stuff. And just the tears. And just I want to see Kelsey crumple over and crow like Joel Embiid when he lost to the Raptors. I wanted chaos because there hasn't been anyone this big to be at multiple games for the focus to be on. There hasn't been. So this is a hater in me, whatever, the grump, whatever. I don't care. That's one. Two, the Super Bowl was boring for about 3 quarters. It was boring for about 3 quarters. It was boring. I think at one point it was 10-6. I was like, okay. It's starting to feed into Kansas City's hands, though. That's one thing it felt like. It was like, all right, if San Francisco's not going to score another point and Kansas City ties this game, the game is over. And that's exactly what happens. San Francisco, and every team, it's like well, I see the Patriots comparison. You have to put teams like this away. You cannot let them linger. And when you get an interception up in the second half, up 10-3, whatever, you have to go down and score a touchdown. Like you have to do things to put the Chiefs away. And they did not do things to put the Chiefs away. They let them linger. And I'm not trying to discredit the Kansas City Chiefs defense, which was the second best defense in the league. And we need to give some love to Spagnuolo, who for some reason could not do it as a head coach. But he has 4 rings as an assistant. And people he's an assistant to Andy Reid. No, let's talk about this real quick. Spagnuolo was the defensive coordinator when the Giants beat the Patriots. Right? And he's been in Kansas City ever since, right? For the last 3 rings,
been
right?
there for a while,
yeah.
That defense has gotten better. And we know one thing that Spags is going to do. He's going to send a blitz. And when the Niners needed a first down on a 3rd and 5, and everybody in that stadium knew, and Romo knew he was sending the blitz. Not Shanahan, not Purdy. No adjustments were made. There weren't 2 running backs in the backfield, nothing, not a 12 personnel. Spags sent the blitz. Ayuk had a window, but I think Purdy chose Juwan Johnson to throw it to. But Ayuk had the window. I think if Purdy just took one little step forward, he probably would have made that pass. But it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. We know what Spagnuolo's doing. Shout out to Spagnuolo. He's probably the only defensive coordinator I know that has 4 rings. There's 4 rings. You know what I mean? Yeah. This doesn't happen, right? But just watching the game and the atmosphere was cool. Like it was just too much sometimes for 2. And Tony Romo has gone from being on everybody's wish list as either an announcer or a coach to shut the fuck up, Tony. And the perfect example was this.
Super. I know.
You're heading, it's overtime. The Chiefs are driving. They're in the red zone. And right before the snap, Romo is trying to quickly explain the overtime rules and the lack of urgency by Kansas City to not snap the ball, because if the clock went to 0, it goes into what we consider the second quarter of overtime. So I get his point to explain it. Why did he choose that point to try to explain it? I don't understand why. And then so by the time he finished explaining and the ball is snapped, Jim Nantz is trying to make it a moment. And then if you hear it, Romo goes for the Super Bowl. He's trying to like jump in. Bro, the moment was already ruined, bro. You picked the wrong time to explain yourself. The time to explain yourself was at the point where there wasn't a 2-minute warning and the clock was still running. That was the perfect time to explain yourself. Not when they're in the red zone, not when they're like 2 yards away from the touchdown and stuff like that. It was just terrible.
And you know the worst thing about that too? I want to add a couple of things to that. 2 things. One, the worst thing about that is after Jim Nantz made the call, Tony Romo was still like, "Oh my God, this is a great play call by Andy Reid. Look what he's doing. Look at all this stuff." It's like, dude, they just won the Super Bowl.
Just let the moment breathe, man.
Yeah,
the moment breathe. The moment speaks for itself. Everybody's celebrating like they done cemented themselves as a dynasty. Let the shit speak for itself. Like there's no need to talk.
Right.
Like Troy Aikman, for all the fall he gets, sometimes he had that crazy tweet now, that hilarious tweet now, but like all the fault Troy Aikman gets, like the Minneapolis Miracle, right, versus the Saints, when Joe Buck has that amazing call. He didn't say anything for like what, a good 30 seconds, a minute. He let that entire scene just speak for itself, and that's what you have to do. Let things speak for itself.
It was so anticlimactic. We were watching, and I'm like, this doesn't feel like a moment. It was supposed to feel bigger. Yeah. But then the second thing is the fact that a lot of people didn't know that the game was over. Like,
a lot of players didn't know the rules. Like, it's crazy. Bro, they didn't.
So the fact that there's a couple of things that came out. Some players were saying that Shanahan didn't prepare them for overtime, right? And then there's another scenario where it says, well, Andy Reid was like, yo, listen, if this is going to happen, we're going to go for 2 and blah, blah, blah. And if overtime comes, we rather defer because, so it seemed like on one side, Reid had people ready. And I guess McCole didn't know because McCole wasn't there for however long. And then on the other side, Shanahan didn't really have his guys ready. But then, of course, people at home didn't really understand overtime rules either. So it was like a whole, mix-up and everything like that. But all in all, it was a good game. I wouldn't rank it as – I think it would have been better if the moment was able to breathe. I think it would have been better if the overtime rules don't seem so fucking kerfuddled right now. Like, it's just so confusing. Like, all right, I thought the whole point was just to say if the other team scores a touchdown first, the other team gets a chance. I wasn't aware that there was a second quarter. So I didn't know that the clock could run out and then you could still get a hold of the clock to score, which to me just seems stupid as hell. Like it doesn't. A team doesn't take. I mean, San Francisco did take a long time to get that field goal, which is crazy. But if a team takes that much off the clock, I guess I guess that's the strategy to say they can't do that or whatever. Fine, but I'm not going to pretend like I knew what the overtime rule was until everything was.
I damn sure didn't know that if you get past first overtime, it goes to, it's a running clock. It's just basically like an entirely new football. Even though they said it, obviously, so like they covered their base, but like I'm just not thinking that somebody's going to get to almost double overtime. Like that just never happens for obvious reasons. Like obviously, regular season is a tie. Anyway, and then we've never gotten close to that in a playoff game. So like I wasn't thinking about it from that perspective. But as far as Taylor Swift, they showed her for 50 seconds. Like, guys, we don't.
In total, but I mean, just cutting.
Yeah, it was like whatever, 15 different 3-second shots. Who cares?
Yeah, I care. I'm good, bro. I'm good. They didn't even show the owner of the team and the GM that much. Like, you remember? You know who gets? I think
nobody wants to see the order of the team. We don't care about
it. Hold on. I think if we ranked who was second most cut to in the NFL, it's probably Jerry Jones. I think if there's anybody in the league who's been cut to, the camera cuts to the most, it's Jerry Jones. Because the camera doesn't cut to Woody at all. Because I don't even know where Woody is on the sideline when the Jets are playing. You don't see Morrow or anybody else. But
you see Robert Kraft.
Yeah, you see Kraft, of course. But I think if there's if we were to rank them, it's Taylor Swift, Jerry Jones, Kraft, and then that's it. Maybe Lynch. I don't even think Lynch got FaceTime yesterday at all during the program. I don't think they talk about Lynch. And they used to suck off Lynch about, he's such a great executive and stuff like that. Every other game, they would talk how great Lynch is as an executive. And they didn't mention that at least once yesterday. So, but my little pet peeve doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. I don't know what the numbers are going to be about how many people viewed. I think the most watched game was last year. It was like 111 million people watched last year's Super Bowl. Of course, with Taylor Swift being there, there's going to be a lot more. And we're going to get into, of course, Mahomes and everything else. But Kev, what are your thoughts about yesterday's game?
I thought it was compelling. I didn't think it wasn't the greatest played game, but it's two pretty evenly matched teams, and the back and forth, the X's and O's part was interesting enough to keep me entertained. So I had no real qualms with it. Like, there were fumbles all over the place. Like, the Niners couldn't get out of their own way with penalties, blah, 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 blah. It was not artistic by any fucking means. It was not something you would put on a teach tape. So, like, I understood, and I understand why people aren't compelled by it. I personally was. Obviously, part of that is the narrative around the game. Obviously, it's a Super Bowl for one. The team's going at it for two. Like, the coach, like what people have to gain as far as their narrative and their legacy, this, that, and the third. I thought all of that combined to make it interesting. If this was a game between the Giants and Seahawks in October, I might have turned it off. Like to be honest, to be fully honest, like the same game with the same type of shit going on, I might have turned the shit off. So like, I get why people weren't exactly enthralled by it, but I found it to be pretty entertaining. Yeah, I mean, Tony Romo just the thing with the Romo stuff, it's like he still provides good insight every now and again, but it's clear what happened here. When he first started, he was fresh off the field. So he still knew the tendencies of X coach, Y coach, this coach, that coach, this team, that team. Like he could still call like, all right, this formation's coming out here, too wide, but whatever. Like four receivers on one side of it. This is coming. He could tell you that, bro. That man probably hasn't turned on film in years. At least he talks like it. Like maybe he takes his job more serious than it appears on game day. Maybe I'm not giving him enough credit. But like he talks like somebody who's been out of the game for a while. Like he talks like somebody, and then just the announcer part is just like you just don't need to always. He has not found a moment of silence he did not want to fill. Like that's Tony Romo. That's Tony Romo. It's like you don't have to always talk. Like I know you're quite legitimately paid to talk. You don't always have to talk. You do not get paid by the word. You don't get paid by the word. Like he acts like one of them kids in college who thinks the more words you write, the better grade you're gonna get. We've all known one of them. Like we've all known one of them. Like, oh yeah, if I write, oh you want 1,000 words? Fuck it, I'll give you 1,750. Like, bro, that's not gonna get you a better grade. If the paper stinks, it stinks. It's not gonna get you a better grade. So like that's how Tony Romo talks. It's frustrating because I know he could be better at this. We've seen it. But he's so far gone. Like they were having meetings about this during the regular season. I don't know if y'all saw the piece.
Yeah,
they were having legit like meetings like on the road, like sit downs, whole sit downs. Like, hey man, are you gonna get it together or what? Like
they paid him. They paid him like a crazy deal.
They paid him. Oh my god, they paid him a gob of fucking money.
I coach too. I get that.
They paid him a lot of fucking money, but it's just it's very he was probably the worst part of the game. Let's put it that way.
I'm hoping someone pays him a lot to coach. I was like, somebody get him out. Somebody just like,
bro. I don't think you understand how much he's getting paid to commentate.
No, I know. But I'm just saying. I hope somebody pays him even more to come out there and coach.
Bro, what are they going to pay him? Like they have to pay him $100 million to get him out of the fucking booth.
Yes. Good Las Vegas.
Legit. Ain't nobody leaving that much money on the table. What CBS giving him? Not a soul in hell, bro.
I never seen someone derail their own career as much as he has, as far as like going from being super liked to like shut the hell up, bro. Like you're talking way too much.
The commentators. But yes.
Well, I mean, he's color though. Jim Nance is a commentator.
No, listen. I'll tell you where I was going with that. Because you just said I've never seen somebody do it. I was like, Deshaun Watson has a word. That was my answer. Go ahead.
Oh man, but good, Jude.
No, I was gonna say, like I was saying earlier, guys like Troy Aikman, Chris Collinsworth, sometimes like Greg Olsen, they just know when to let the moment breathe, when to just be quiet. Like Tony Romo, from the moment the game starts, he's talking about.
He's on. It's like you go for a radio station and the on-air light comes on. It's like ding, like he's
let Jim Nance do his job. Like that's the big thing. Let the guy do his job.
I'm pretty sure Jim Nance wanted and the funny thing is, moments like this define your career as a commentator, right? Yes. Like who was on the call. Now you probably have to listen to like ESPN Mexico or something like that to hear a better call for that final point of the game, man, like, to hear the Spanish broadcast speak because someone actually knew. Shut the fuck up.
I'm actually look that up now that you mention it because usually stuff like this, especially when it features either a team I like or a player I like or players I like I like to watch it over and over and relive it. And bro, the way it was commentated makes that a no-go for me, dude. Like I can't do it,
bro. It has to be.
Nance's call was kind of dead to begin with. Right. And then, like, Romo just made it fucking worse.
It just made it worse.
I can't watch it.
Made it worse.
What did you think, Kev? Go on. Sorry about that.
Drew.
I was asking Kev, what did you think about, to segue a little bit, what did you think about the whole overtime stuff? Because I know that's a super big, like, thing.
Oh, like, so we're just going to go into it now? Let's do it.
I was shout out to Buffalo.
So are we talking about the rules, or are we talking about how Shanahan handled it? Where are we going?
Wait, let's before we segue to that, because I don't, I have it in order. Don't want to segue to that just yet. We're definitely going to get into that later.
Okay.
I want to segue into this episode, and every episode is brought to you by W Energy. Be better. W is a gentlest energy blend. Get 10% off W Energy with promo code MIPOD69. They have a lot of different flavors, a lot of different packages. I ordered mine. It'll be coming here soon. I'm gonna get to the sampler pack, and eventually I'm gonna tell you guys how it tastes and everything like that. Hopefully, I'm not putting my foot in my mouth by promoting something I don't know if I like or not. But shout out to W Energy. Be better, and also. Every episode is sponsored by dazzlecool2.com. Shop dazzlecool2.com and get 10% off with promo code MIPOD69. And you can look like Zaddy, like me. That's MIPOD69.
I always
10% off dazzlecool2.com.
Can we run the first picture back real fast? Just real quick, please.
I need somebody to Photoshop that in some Chiefs gear or something like that. You know what I mean? Some branding. Some branding. Yo, shout out to what's his name? A wife, Jusic. She got a deal because she makes her own.
What's his name?
Yes.
Kyle Jusic. Was it Jusic, right?
No.
Jusic?
No.
Jusic?
Let's just keep it. Let's just have a moment. Keep trying.
Bro, there's like a Y and a Z in his name. I'm not. Keep
trying. If at first you don't succeed, dust yourself.
Number 44. Number 44 for San Francisco.
Use check, man.
What up, bro? You look at Kev, the fucking Mensa student. USEC. I don't give a fuck.
Just don't ask me to spell it, but use check. I'm not gonna ask you to spell it. That's the only athlete's name I refuse to
trying to take
spell.
me down. Listen, man, I read out loud in class. All right, don't do that to me, okay?
You weren't nervous when the teacher called?
I was not nervous when the teacher. Mr. K heard it. Yes.
Like the teacher called you, the whole class groaned.
Stop giving him a paragraph. Just give him 2 lines.
Whole class groaned. Like, oh shit, this is about to take like half an hour.
I wasn't a finger reader. I wasn't like my. But before we get into the Kyle Shanahan thing, let's just talk about the not so big elephant in the room, Mahomes. God tier quarterback. Let's give the man credit where it's due. 6 straight AFC championship games, 4 Super Bowl appearances, 3 Super Bowl victories, and 3 Super Bowl MVPs. It's Jude had mentioned the Troy Aikman tweet because somebody had said something about Troy Aikman. He said he gets 33% of my championship talk. I find it so hilarious that Troy Aikman, of all people, was talking cash shit like Emmitt Smith didn't drag his ass to the Super Bowls. Like, please, bro. And
it's like Troy. All due respect, like I think there's some era stuff that gets lost in translation when talking about like older quarterbacks. But bro, it takes 2 seconds of watching Mahomes realize he's way better than Troy Aikman ever was. And this is not even a 2024 take. This is 2020, 2019. Pick a year. Like he's better than you. So like, oh well, holler back at me when he gets my championship. Like, okay, well we're here now. We're here now, Troy.
Can nobody with a career high of 23 touchdowns be talking so much shit, bro?
And he did it the same year too. Like he said that shit in 2019, and 5 months later he got the Super Bowl ring. So it's like he already has 1/3 of your rings.
Yeah, he listen. Troy Aikman had a hell of a Super Bowl run. I think his first second run in the playoffs, whatever. He had a hell of a run. He had like a Flacco run, but everything else it was Emmitt Smith.
Troy Aikman was a garden variety good quarterback that was propped up by his surroundings. Like that feels familiar, don't it?
Propped up is very
Brock Purdy of his era. He was just drafted number 1 overall.
I was gonna say he's Alex Smith of this era, but
whoa, we don't gotta disrespect Troy like that.
We don't have to do this case. We don't have to
disrespect Troy like that.
Hey man, I'm just saying.
But Alex Smith will come up later in the show.
Oh, please hope not. But yeah, I definitely I want to say I was a naysayer, but I definitely had some doubts that they were going to do it this year, and they did it. And this is what makes Mahomes great and puts him in the same company as Brady. Because when Brady first started his career, he wasn't really doing much. It was just defense and him just doing what he had to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he was a game manager.
Game manager, right?
A big part of that. Yep.
Mahomes wasn't, for all intents and purposes, he wasn't a game manager this season But when he had to be a game manager, he was. But what made him a game changer was like the game against the Jets when he was running for first downs, or the game yesterday when it's 4th and 1, and they don't give it to Pacheco. They do a RPO.
And they weren't expecting that. Niners legit were not expecting that at all because I don't think he did that much in the regular season.
Right? That was legitimate. Like they ran triple option multiple times in the Super Bowl.
That's they put the ball in their best players' hands, which is why it's such a fucking head scratcher that you're watching the Ravens struggle on offense, and it's like your best players literally right there. Give him the ball. And if Lamar is fighting that to say, "Oh, I'd rather stay in the pocket and pass," then you're a dumbass. Like use your legs. That's you still have they fucking work. The operational. Use them. Mahomes doesn't run as well as Lamar does, but he runs. He's
effective as hell.
Bro, he's elusive.
The way he runs is so crazy.
I imagine rooting against him like. The running must be the most annoying part because bro, he runs like he's about to take a shit on himself, bro. Like
he runs like a toddler.
Well, he already did the act rather, but yeah,
bro, he runs like a toddler with scissors. Like you know, as a father, like all my fathers out there, if your toddler grabs something or your child like under 7 grabs something and runs around and you can't grab them, and people think you're joking. No, that's how he runs. He just spins around and he takes off and he runs with his arms flailing like this and this weird motion. Like it's nothing fluid about how he moves around the fucking field, but he does it.
Yeah, but it's effective as hell.
Like it's effective. We had 60-some yards
rushing angles really well. He had like 60-some yards.
66
He
yards.
was the Chiefs' leading rusher. That's the crazy thing.
He uses angles well. Like he's elusive. Like he picks the right moments frequently to do that. And it's just it's backbreakers, man. Like every time it's just
every time. And it wasn't a super crazy performance by Mahomes. It wasn't a terrible one either. But if you ranked all of the Super Bowl victories, this is probably the worst one as far as like what he did, like output, right? But his effectiveness is what makes the difference. And when they were down by 3, when San Francisco kicked that field goal, and I'm like, there's a minute and 50-something seconds left. They have 2 timeouts. And the first thing I'm thinking of what Kev was like, yo, this man went down the field against Buffalo in 13 seconds. And I'm like, you gave him a minute and 52 seconds? Like
you're pretty much conceding the field goal right there already. Like,
they were lucky it was a field goal. They were lucky it was a field goal because the play to Kelsey, which I swore Kelsey was going to take it to that. I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, he caught the ball, and all he's thinking is Taylor Swift is at the end of this play because he was moving. He was moving. He ended up and I think he dislocated homie's shoulder too. The safety on San Francisco, I think he dislocated his shoulder. He was running with a purpose. And I'm like, this game is over.
That was the fastest he moved in 7 years.
Bro, I'm like, yo, they wanted to end that game right. And they were and the funny thing is they were one, I'm gonna use quotes, bad decision by Mahomes to win it because I think it was MVS or somebody was Rice. Rasheed Rice was wide open and he missed me trying to throw it to Kelsey. But again, that quick field goal, 24-yard overtime, and then San Francisco receives. I'm just like, I was talking to my girl. I'm like, yo, if they go into overtime, the Chiefs are gonna win this. And she's like, why? I said, watch. I said, it's just it don't. I said, it's explained to her the new overtime rules. The pressure is on the receiving team to go down and score a touchdown. There's no pressure on the defense. It's just you have to go and score. And if you don't, and you kick a field goal, it's right.
It's obviously like the context of who you're playing matters. Like if we're talking about some regular team or whoever the fuck else, like basically anybody that does not employ Patrick Mahomes, we're talking about something very different. Right. But yeah, like the pressure was definitely on the Niners once they chose to receive. Correct.
Right. And then, go ahead, Drew.
I was going to say, the thing is, too, even if San Francisco scores a touchdown, I think they would have to go for 2 in that situation, to be honest. Like, I think if they kick the field, I mean, we heard the quotes already. They were going to go, the Chiefs were going to go for 2 if San Francisco scored a touchdown. Yeah, so it's like, you have to go for 2 in that situation.
Yeah. it would have been compelling to see what would have happened had they scored a touchdown, and then KC came back and scored a touchdown. It would have been they claimed they were going to go for 2, so that would have been a really
that would have been a bigger moment.
That would have been an awesome ending to a Super Bowl. But
that would have been a huge moment. I'm not hoping for more overtime football in the future because this was the second longest Super Bowl in history, and I'm really getting tired of these long ass games.
But here's something I wanted to say about Mahomes right quick is I've been seeing a lot of, oh my God, you still can't compare him to Brady. Don't even I'm thinking to myself, why can't you compare him to Brady? He's the only modern quarterback since at least 2000 to have 3 Super Bowl rings. He's 28. He did this with a bunch of NPCs twice.
I'm just gonna go the semantic route, and God knows there are many things I hate more than GOAT debates because it's why are we comparing a 28-year-old to a 45-year-old anyway? But it to me at least, and this is no disrespect to Tom Brady, I just think it's clear Mahomes is a better player because here's the thing with Pat that I think doesn't get spoken about for a variety of reasons. We are at the point where the mind is now matching the physical talents. And that is absolutely terrifying. Because and I'll talk about this more in the game manager segment of the program when we get into later. But Mahomes was the world's best game manager for 3 games. It was just all right. Listen, okay, we're going through a drought right now. Okay, cool. We're not scoring no touchdowns. Fine, because there was 17 straight drives on a touchdown, whatever it was. But it's all right. Our defense is rocking. They're doing their job. As long as I don't do anything fucking stupid, I could stay out of their way and they could do their thing. Even the picky throw, yes, that wasn't a good throw, whatever.
It was a terrible one.
It was a terrible throw. They got the ball at their own 35. Yes, that's not ideal, obviously, but it ain't backbreaking. Your defense can still get a stop. But Mahomes, the maturity of his game is quite different than it was 2 years ago. He's getting there with the mind. The mind is matching the game, and just it's a terrifying thing. But yeah, back to the Mahomes Brady thing. It's I think it's clear Mahomes, he does all the Brady stuff while having way more talent. So what's left? Is he more accomplished than Brady? No, he's not even fucking 30. So we're just yelling past each other. It's he doesn't have 7 rings. Yeah, he's played 6 years. He's played 6 years. He can't get 7 rings in 6 years. Sorry. Right. Okay, he only has 3. Okay, cool. Nobody is saying he's more accomplished than Tom Brady. Nobody is saying that. But he cannot be. Tom Brady's fucking 50. He can't be more accomplished than him. Is he better? Some of us think so. That's a legitimate discussion, whether you fucking like it or not. And the Tom Brady fans can't bro, I saw so many of them last night. And do these people like football? Because bro, if you watch that game with that ending, regardless of how good or bad the first 3.5 quarters were, that notwithstanding, we got a classic ending. Fuck Tony Romo for what he did, but we got a classic ending to the game.
Right.
And your first thought is, I can't believe you're comparing him to Tom. Tom got saying anything. Go outside. Touch the grass. Go outside. Find a love interest. Get a job. Do something. Why is that
here's a job application?
Why is that your first thought? To tweet. It's one thing if somebody wants to bring it up 2 weeks from now, you want to tweet all right, let's relax. Tom has done this, that, and the third. Fine. Watching that, it's an NBA ass mindset where no matter what, who X does, they're not Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan did this in 1992. What did insert player here do? It just let it. Brady's retired. He doing this little podcast. He retired, bro. He's at peace with life. Maybe he's trying to get his family back. I don't know what the fuck he's doing. He's good. He's straight. Just let us enjoy Mahomes. If motherfuckers want to call him the GOAT, let him call him the GOAT. Brady not playing. We just watched a really good ending to a really good football game with the generation's defining player, or this generation's defining player, whatever you want to call it, adding an iconic moment to his reel. And the first thing, Will Thomas said, "Shut up."
And I wanted to say something too. If D Ford was on sides, he probably has 4 Super Bowl rings.
No, I mean, listen, man, there's a world where, we're talking about the 2 AFC title games that they lost. We're talking about one where Mahomes inexplicably just forgot how to play football. Like a Chiefs fan in my mentions some weeks back, he said, I don't know if he knows something or he just said it's a pass. And he was like, Mahomes played a concussed second half of that game. I don't know if that's just. I'm just like, listen, given the rest of his history, that half of football just does not make any fucking sense whatsoever. If it came out 15 years from now he was concussed, would I be shocked? No, but whatever. And then you had D Ford, like they scored 31 second half points. Yes. D Ford lined up all sides, essentially cost them the game. They lost in overtime. They didn't touch the ball, but nobody cared then. Nobody cared then. They didn't touch the ball in overtime. Atlanta didn't touch the ball in overtime. Nobody cared then. Josh Allen didn't touch the ball in overtime. We've made him the victim ever since. That happened like 4 years ago. We've made him the victim ever fucking since. Like it's just nonstop. Just Josh Allen. Oh my God, he's so good, and Patrick is just better. Boo hoo. We changed rules. We did all this, that, and the third because homeboy lost in fucking overtime. As if it wasn't fucking self-inflicted by the Bills anyway for not kicking the damn squib kick. With 13 seconds left for one, and giving up 40 yards in 13 seconds to give them the field goal. But we had to change rules. Nobody cared when Mahomes got victimized. You know, somebody with actual accomplishments, unlike the big motherfucker playing for Buffalo. And nobody cared when that happened. Like, and it happened to Mahomes, and like the Falcons are a joke, so whatever to them. But it happened to them, and we've laughed at the Falcons ever since then. And they got fucked in overtime. Granted, should it have been overtime? No. But the fact of the matter is, they got fucked in overtime. That's what it is. The Bills shouldn't have been in overtime either if they handled business. They didn't. And we had to change rules. And I had to explain rules all over the damn Super Bowl party I was at last night. So thank you, Josh Allen. Thank you for your contribution. Sorry, not even McDermott. Excuse me. You're the fucking culprit here. Thank you, Sean McDermott, for your contributions. Bozo. Thank you.
I like how the Bills managed to be squeezed into.
I always got time to slander them motherfuckers. Always got time.
But yeah, D Ford stays on side. I don't think he beats the Rams the second year of like Aaron Donald, with Matthew Stafford and everything. But that first year against Goff, they probably beat them pretty easily. That second year, I'm not sure. So he probably has 4 Super Bowl rings. So it's like, what more do you want for him to do to be in the conversation with the GOAT? Age himself more? Play 2 Super Bowls in one season.
There's a better versus greater component, and then there's just some people who just don't want to let it go, and then there are some people just like I want to see more. And I'm just like, sometimes it's obvious, man. Like it was obvious that Mike. Granted, I wasn't around, so I'm leaning on the word of history and people who are older than me. It was obvious Mike was that guy, like long before he started winning championship rings. It was obvious LeBron was that guy in a different way because he was carrying bums to places they had no business being in. It was obvious he was going to be that guy. It was obvious Mahomes was going to be that guy a long time ago. It's just people are slow to adjust, I guess. People just, this praise is too much. What are we saying? All right, well, now you got 3 Super Bowl rings in 6 years. So you tell me what are we saying?
Yeah, that's the thing. We were there with Mahomes, like, all right, year, like, first full year starting, we were there, right? And then, second year, and then when the Bucks destroy them, he's not as good as, he can't beat the GOAT, blah, blah, blah. He can't beat Brady. All right, cool. And
Tom Brady did a great job pressuring him that game.
Right. And then he wins back-to-back Super Bowls, and it's like, all right, so he has 3 Super Bowls in 4 seasons, and pretty much similar trajectory to Tom Brady, who had the same thing. He had 3 Super Bowls in 4 seasons. I'll bet that Mahomes played 2 more seasons in comparison. But Mahomes did it at a higher level. He did it at a level where he was allowed to operate within his offense and throw the ball. Brady wasn't doing that in New England when he first started, because if you look at his numbers, they were decent numbers, but he wasn't throwing for 30 touchdowns. And in the playoffs, his playoff numbers were even worse. So it's not like he was big money in the playoffs neither. It was the Patriots defense and Adam Vinatieri, and they won the first 3 Super Bowls by 3 points. And I think for majority of his Super Bowl wins, majority of them were decided by 3 points or less. You know what I mean? He never really had like a big victory because Bill Belichick went super conservative and defense and running the ball and, taking it easy before they got Gronk and everybody else started opening up the offense and letting Tom Brady throw the fucking ball. So if we're saying that Mahomes is playing how he's playing on this level and he's 28, will it be a 10-year drought? I don't know, because that's what Brady had to go through, a 10-year drought of not winning. Not saying he didn't go to Super Bowl, because he did, just not winning Super Bowls, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you can say the same thing about Mahomes because the way the Chiefs are right now, if they go to the same amount of Super Bowls that Brady go, is there a New York Giants type team in the NFC that we don't know about yet? Not yet.
No,
we haven't seen it.
No, it's going to be the Jets who take care of business.
Oh, please don't do this.
Don't get them riled up, Kev, because we only lost 24-20 in week whatever. It won't
week 4.
Week 4.
Yeah.
And they're hanging on to that.
Now I have a question about that.
Yeah.
What does Mahomes do first? A three-peat? Or he goes 20-0? Like, which is more likely, I should say? A three-peat, so he wins the Super Bowl?
1,000%.
Neither.
A three-peat. It's 1,000% more likely.
Neither. I'm still. First of all, 20-0 is it's just
20-0 is not happening. They don't care about the regular season enough for that to happen. But yeah, keep going.
Winning it again next season, it just depends on what the Chiefs do as far as like fixing that offense. Kelsey's like, so the advantages. So this is where the advantages that come for Brady in his career trajectory and Mahomes. Brady had a younger coach in Belichick at the time he was doing his thing. Pat Mahomes doesn't. He's an older coach, and they already said Henry's coming back. He'll be back at 65, right? When Brady got his tight ends, they were younger. Kelsey is 33, 34, something like that. 34 turning 35.
I think he's about to be 35. Yep.
Listen, and I guys, hear me out. I'm not doing this intentionally, but if he's engaged to Taylor Swift, he plans on getting married. He's going to protect that brain, and he's not going to. He's not going to be like, I'm going to risk my body another 2-3 years for another. You hear me? What? I'm not going to risk my body for another 2-3 years because she's not going to allow him to. And because she's a billionaire. She's a billionaire.
Oh my
God.
It's
like, I'm telling you, listen. I'm not
she's not going to allow him to.
I'm not saying this from a conspiracy theory point of view. I'm saying this as a man with a woman in the house. To two men who don't have that situation. Your woman is going to look at you and say, "Okay, you've done a lot. You're all time this. We're about to get married. I want to have kids. You're not going to be one of those guys who go crazy on me later on in his career. When are you going to stop?"
My man said if she won't allow him. That is.
I mean, it could be like Tom Brady. It could be like Tom Brady. He could
be like Tom Brady to keep on going. You know what I mean? Because we've had a discussion about players like, hey, I don't like my family. Aaron Rodgers and Brady and guys like that. Like,
I mean, they fucking Joe Flacco come back play the goddamn year because he don't like his family, bro.
Right. In this scenario, though, in this specific scenario, as a tight end, as a physical dude who looked like he was dragging himself into that fourth quarter / overtime. How many years does he have left? So if you say at 35, maybe 2 more years left, I'm not saying peak football, just decent tight end football. I think he retires sooner than later because I think that wedding and that proposal, stuff like that, whatever, if that's really going to happen, I think he retires sooner than later. And
I'm surprised he didn't retire this year. I'm honestly surprised he didn't retire this year, to be honest.
His brother retired, and they're very close. I'm just saying. I think sooner than later. So what I'm saying is there's certain factors that Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs are going to have to deal with that Brady and Belichick didn't have to deal with because all they had to do was get better on offense. What the Chiefs have to do now is figure out how to get back to the offense they were running a couple of years ago. You know what I mean? Remember, there's no Tyreek Hill no more. And there's no Kareem Hunt from years before.
But do they have to get back to that though? I mean, this is now the second year in a row they've played NPCs out there and they won the Super Bowl.
But this was his worst year as far as statistically. You can't constantly go back to that well. Golden State did it. A lot of teams do it. All right, hey, we got the guys. Come on, we're gonna do it again. Father Time's undefeated. Mahomes may be doing everything in his power to lead them. He will lead them back to the playoffs, or whatever case may be. He will win another division. But eventually it catches up. I'm not wishing bad on him. I'm not saying, he's got, no.
No, you're just playing the odds and you're being safe. Right. Because you do this every year. So, eventually you're going to be right.
You have to get better. You have to get better. You have to. You can't like the Patriots. The reason why the Patriots went through the lull they went through was because Belichick did not want to get off of that snide and say, "Let's get some offense in." When he tried to get an offense in, and Brady was getting accustomed to that, he's like, "Yo,
that's not true. That's not true. Let's not revise history like that. That is not fucking."
He didn't start bringing offense in,
bro. Their drought started when 04, correct? That was the last Super Bowl,
right?
04. Bro, they brought in Randy Moss 3 years later. What are we talking about?
Right. When he finally
drafted Rob Gronkowski, they drafted Aaron Hernandez.
Yes. When he finally started bringing offense in.
Right, but they didn't go on a 10-year drought because they didn't do it. They went on a 10-year drought because
I said they had to make changes. They had to make changes, and they brought offense in. The Chiefs are going to eventually have to make changes.
I mean, it would be a shock if the Chiefs didn't draft the wide receiver this year. It would be a shock.
I'd be super shocked, or at least go after
or at least
free agents.
Maybe sign one. But
Ridley,
I don't. If I'm them, I'm not signing shit. Bro, I didn't want 2 Super Bowls with this bullshit. Like I might as well just draft one. Like, I didn't want 2 Super Bowls with this bullshit. Like why am I? I'm not paying T. Higgins, $65 million, whatever the fuck he's commanding. When I could just be all right. Yeah, we could just draft it, bro. We won a Super Bowl with Kelsey's old ass, Rasheed Rice, and some bums. And yes, I said bums. Like I done got like 17 ats last night when McCall Hardman caught the game in a touch. I'm like, bro, can you tell me the same shit last year?
Wait, you mean not Randy Moss? That was Randy Moss. Like, the way I want to go on that right quick because the way some beat writers, like the moment McCall Hardman caught that touchdown, all of them rushed to their computers like, "Oh, you see Hardman? Look what he did." It's like, congrats, he caught a whoa.
Yeah, because people like you eat it up. That's why. Why are you fired? You know what? I'm gonna be a little bit. I'm not gonna name specific names. I was about to be specific. I won't. Why are you following beat writers of certain teams in February? I'll just put it that way. I'll be judicious about this. Why are you following? And this is not just a you question, even though I mean it is, but it's not. It's everybody, bro. Why do you care about what Rich Cimini has to say in February? Genuine, honest to God question. What is he giving? Like Rich Cimini doesn't really, just tweet wise. Rich Cimini doesn't give you shit during football season. He doesn't give you shit. It's February. The Jets haven't played a meaningful game in like 6 months. Why are you still following Rich Cimini in February to even get riled up about the bullshit that he's fucking tweet? Why? Stop following. He's not even going to follow during the fucking season. And in this February, it's the Super Bowl, and you're like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get riled up by a Rich Cimini tweet. Why are you following him still?
Bro, I had to mute fans. I had to like, it's yo, bro.
And it's like, bro, if y'all didn't do this, like y'all being them, obviously, if y'all didn't do this, they wouldn't have a reason to do it. It's eating y'all up. That's what
bro. People just can't. They just keep turning it into the skid.
Fucking job. Like imagine covering the goddamn Jets for however many years. It's not fun. That's the only thing the job is fucking riling up the fans. If we're gonna keep it a bean, that's the only job.
Yeah, it's.
You gotta watch Tim Boyle every Sunday. I'd be riling up the fans too. I'd be doing worse.
Right. He tweeted. A couple of people tweeted. And I'm just looking at this like, all right, unfollow, mute, block. No. Like it's just not worth reading
like
people do the same
I'm
thing.
not here to argue that they're not. Of course they're fucking. McCall Hardman's garbage. Like if McCall Hardman was cooking, fine, bro. Understood. McCall Hardman's a trash can. Like what are we talking about? He's still bad.
And the funny thing was Travis Kelce in the interview was like, the Jets let him go. And I'm like, didn't the Chiefs let him go?
Of course they're like, right, bro. Like I don't do the oh my god, the media hates the Jets. I hate that shit because I'll don't get me wrong. Sometimes it's occasionally true. They will say some shit to poke at Jets fans. I'm not here to argue that, but a lot of it is people are just mad that the Jets haven't made the playoffs in 14 years, and everybody treats them like a joke, which they are. But like former Jet McCall Hardman is wild to me. That's wild to me. We don't need to mention that part of history. He caught like 3 passes for the Jets. We really don't need to mention that part of history. And if he had stayed on the damn team, he out of sight, out of mind. We wouldn't care. Nobody would care. Nobody would give a fuck if he was on the team. He wouldn't have done anything. Hell, he went to Kansas City. He didn't do anything. And he caught the game when he passed in the Super Bowl when he was left alone, number one. Number two, we saw the same damn play working in the last Super Bowl with Kadarius fucking Toney and Sky Moore. And they both stink. So what are we talking about?
They showed how many times they ran that play. Right. Like, all right, it's a 2-yard pass. It's a 2-yard pass.
Right, McCall Hardman is immortalized simply because he was on the Chiefs roster and they showed him to run that play with him.
You know what the hilarious thing is too? They had him up on the on the the winner's circle, whatever, and he spoke for like 10 seconds, and Ant was like, "Get the fuck off the stage." And was
Good.
like, pretty much like,
Good.
Get
That's about 15 seconds more than you should have spoken if you're keeping it being.
Like, imagine catching the game-winning touchdown, and the dude's like, "Get the fuck off the stage." After like 10
Anybody
seconds.
could have caught that shit.
Anybody, I could have caught that shit. That was
like it wasn't even like he muscled through a bunch of guys like did a Randy Moss.
No,
or
it was
like
a hell of a play
crazy
call. He was butt naked. Like, he was supposed to catch that. He was butt naked, bro.
It was just, it is what it is. But the future of the Chiefs, like I said, in comparison to the Brady thing and the Belichick thing, I think that's the difference is age and timing of it. Eventually, I don't know how many years Reed has left as far as how he wants to coach. He's been coaching for a long time. I think, listen, if I was Reed, after Kelsey yelled at me like that on the sideline, I might be like, all right, man. All right, bro. I don't understand.
That's quite interesting.
Bro, I don't understand why Kelsey was
indeed.
I will say, I'm really glad that Andy Reid just didn't fall down.
Yo,
I'm so glad he didn't fall down.
It's always about to be the whole Zimmer situation, just falling, rolling his fat ass.
I am so right. I'm so glad he didn't. That would have been so much. The dialogue would have been. I mean, the dialogue is. Some of it is disingenuous. Some of it is true. Like, yes, if a black athlete did that shit, we're not having the same kind of convo. I understand that.
Would he even come back in the game if he did that?
Right. Like, I understand. Right. I understand. Like, okay, fine. Not everybody would be viewed the same way for doing the same thing. Sure. Mm-hmm. But also, like, independent of that, you just have people like clutching their pearls over this. Bro, they have that kind of relationship. They yell sometimes. They are family, essentially, at this point. Family yells at each other. Like, listen, I don't yell at nobody older than me like that. I'm also not a professional football player who might be the best at my position of all time. So, like, yeah, conventional rules and apply to guys like Travis Kelce. Understood. But yo, Andy has gotten in his ass too at times. Like, they go back and forth. I'm just glad Homeboy didn't fall down. That would have been awful, and the conversation would have been pathetic. I'm just glad he didn't fall. At least it's just now it's some outrage that'll pass. Like, we'd have been seeing Andy Reid fall for the rest of our lives, basically. Like, if he had fell, we'd be seeing that on the rest of our lives, dude.
We seen what happened with Pedro Martinez and the Yankees coach.
And by the way, 16-year-old me hated that shit. Oh, I hated it. Oh, buddy, that made me so angry. Brother, 36-year-old me, it gets funnier every year. Like, every year, the anniversary comes along with the, oh my God, this day, however many years ago, Don Zimmer gets tossed. And every year I sit there and I watch that shit over and over and over, and I laugh my fucking head off because that shit was funny.
I watch that shit all the time. When Dave Chappelle reenacted it, I was crying when Dave Chappelle
that shit was funny.
It was hilarious. But moving on, Kyle Shanahan. I don't have nothing bad to say about Kyle Shanahan. I don't. You get Jimmy G and Brock Purdy to a Super Bowl. I can't say anything bad about you. If you want to say him and being OC in Atlanta, whatever it may be, and you want to say things about him blowing 10-point leads, fine. I can't get mad at a guy who gets to the Super Bowl. You know, he reinvigorated Matt Ryan's career. You know, he brings bottom tier quarterbacks and makes them at least watchable for a regular season and gets them in the playoffs. His staff is decent. You know, he works well with the GM. GM puts together these pieces. They put together these good teams. I will say this though. At some point in time, and this is to the Brock Purdy, and we'll get to the Brock Purdy thing. At some point in time, you have to wonder: is it on Shanahan? At which point in time is it on Shanahan? I think, in my opinion, yesterday he coached not to lose. He coached for Brock Purdy not to lose. It didn't seem like he was coaching the offense to win. And they were banged up. Debo got hurt late in the game. Christian McCaffrey, he was bloody. His jersey was ripped up. I think he carried the ball like 22 times, and he had 8 catches, like 30 touches. He did not. I mean, I think Elijah Mitchell got a carry like late in the game, a couple of carries, whatever the case may be, only because I think what's his name was hurt. But for all those injuries that were going on, and I'm bringing it full circle to Kev's point. There's certain decisions, and this is also an anti-Jude point. There's a reason why you try to win the game in regulation. There's a reason. And we were talking about this in the Discord, and I said I felt like they played for overtime. People don't agree, but the reason being is simply the way they were playing when they were up 10-0. And I credit to the Chiefs defense. I don't want to discredit their defense, but there were these questionable calls. Like, first of all, Trent Williams is supposed to be a veteran, and these calls the calls that were going against him was just ridiculous, holding, stuff like that, the false start penalties, just undisciplined shit. So they were in a lot of third and unnecessary longs for a lot of reasons. But then, but then Romo, to his point, when he was good, run the ball. It should have been running the ball a little bit more. You know, I don't like the idea. You know, Stefan likes the idea of CMC run out of the backfield, splitting out wide. It didn't work. It wasn't working. It really wasn't working last night. It should have been a more of a heavier dose of Juwan Johnson. Getting Brandon Ayuk the ball, like getting the ball to Ayuk was important. You couldn't get the ball to Kittle. Somebody should be able to get the ball. Running the ball with Deebo Samuel, it just felt unnecessary. It just felt like they put a cap on their own offense at times during the game. And when you play like that and you give the Chiefs life, 10-3, 10-6, you know what I mean? Like, all of a sudden, it's starting to look like they're right.
One play, they're down.
Muff punt. And the funny thing is, everybody thought the dude dropped it. He was like pointing, like, no, it hit homie feet. And it's like, that is the freaking play right there. Like, eventually it breaks. Something happens. The fumble, when CMC fumbled earlier, it was like, oh shit, the fumble. Momentum killers. Like, you can't, you have to be damn near perfect to beat the Chiefs, right? But then you also can't help them either. You can't help them. And I felt like Shanahan was doing his best to help them stay in the game. He did it against the Falcons. Play calling was questionable against the Falcons. Did it against San Francisco before when they were up. All I'm saying is I have nothing bad to say about him overall as head coach. I'm just saying he needs to switch up his game plan. And maybe that involves a quarterback change, but it's not going to be – they're not changing from Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy's going to give himself a nice payday.
Yeah, I mean, the difference in that game was the Chiefs capitalized on the Niners turnovers. The Niners didn't capitalize on the Chiefs turnovers. I'd say I personally thought Shanahan did a fine job. I mean, he could have ran the ball a bit more. Maybe have a different play call for that 3rd and 5, a screen or something. But besides that, it's just like he did well enough. The difference was in overtime, I felt as though he wasn't thinking super far ahead. He was hoping somehow his defense that was already exhausted was going to hold Patrick Mahomes again after holding him the first time. But
I would disagree that he's not thinking too far ahead, but I'll elaborate when I get my turn. Go ahead.
Yeah, but it's like, I would think that they were in the red zone, if I remember correctly. Like, they're on 11, something around the 15-20. I would have gone for it on that 4th down, try to get a touchdown, go for 2. And then you really put all of the pressure on Mahomes right there and then. Because you kick the field goal. You're essentially conceding a field goal to Mahomes at the end of the game. And the only difference now is, are they going to beat you or are they going to tie? And they're probably not going to tie. So that's my only thing. His overtime was a bit suspect, but everything else was reasonable enough. Go on, Kev.
The thing with him not thinking too far ahead, I mean, his whole reasoning for taking the ball in overtime was what could happen on the 3rd possession. When it's like, but you could end it in the first 2, Kyle. Like, so, like, and listen, I don't think that receiving the ball was some indefensible decision. It wasn't.
It's not.
I think taking the ball and then kicking that field goal is insane. Like, and I thought it was goofy in the moment, and the further we get along, the dumber I think it is. Because if you're taking the ball, you are trying to take the game by the balls. Is that not the whole point of taking the football? Because realistically, the more control that you have is if you take the ball second. You know exactly what you have to do. And if you're trailing, you have a full complement of downs. You have 4 downs to get to 10 yards every sequence, whatever. And you know exactly how many points you need. Do you need 7? Do you need 3? You know exactly. Like, if you get the ball first, And you're like, all right, what we're going to do is we're going to give the ball back to Patrick Mahomes down by 3, and he has the full complement of downs. How does that make sense? How does that logically make sense? Because if you go and you score a touchdown, which should have been the main goal, the only goal, unless like you end up at like 4th and 13, fine, kick it at that point. If you score a touchdown, you make their job exponentially harder because one, they have to go score a touchdown in return, like obviously, and either they have to get the 2 and then they have to stop you and get the ball back and then score again. You make their job exponentially harder, and then if they don't score a touchdown in the game. So it's like, oh, if we're even after 2 possessions, we could then win a third. Bro, you could win on the second one. So like, that just
it's galaxy. It's just galaxy brain thinking.
And it's like conventional is not going to beat those dudes, bro. It's just not. Like kicking on 4th and 4 from the 10, it fits safely in a nice box. When you lose, you don't have to answer to it. Like yeah, you have to answer because your players didn't know the fucking rules. Fine, but you don't have to answer for that decision. It's 4th and 4 from 10. Everybody would do it. That's what I'm supposed to give a play. Everybody not playing against Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. Fucking Sirianni did this shit last year. They went for 1 million 4th downs. Super Bowl comes around 4th and 3. Jalen Hurts playing out of his mind. 4th and 3 from the 30. We're gonna punt. Why'd you punt, Nick? Everybody would have punted. And then there's no follow-ups. I'm just like, this is insane. Like, everybody, like, why do I give a fuck what Brian Daboll would do? He's home. He's chilling. Why do I give a fuck what he would do? He's not here. Robert Saleh is not here. They're not here. Mike McCarthy, not here. They're not here. They would have kicked 2. So what does that have to do with you trying to win the fucking Super Bowl? You didn't stop Mahomes the whole goddamn game. The Eagles did last. They didn't stop him the whole goddamn game. Why is your logic like, all right, I can't give them the ball from the 30. Bro, you wasn't stopping them from anywhere. The 30, the 10, the 15, your 30, their 30. You wasn't stopping them anywhere. Conventional is not going to fucking win. And like Kyle is conservative by nature anyway. They went for 4th and 3 in the fucking 4th quarter, so he clearly has it in him. And it's like you get the ball to start overtime. Like, why is 3 points acceptable to you at that point? You're giving Mahomes the ball to 25. How many yards does he have? He reasonably have to go to get a field goal? Like 40? 35 maybe? 35, 40, somewhere in that range? And you're giving him 4 downs every time around to do that. What was the point? What was the point? Go for a touchdown. If you lose, fine. You die. But coaches are just too concerned with the optics of losing. And I get it. You have to answer to your team. That's kind of an unspoken part about an under talked about part of this. You have to answer to your team. And maybe not necessarily the media, but you have to answer to your team. Like, all right, yeah, I did this. I thought it would give us the best chance to win. So for some coaches, like Dan Campbell, it doesn't seem to be a problem over there. The Lions seem to ride with him, and they'll ride with him to the end. It seems like, right? So maybe Kyle the players just like, hey, man, maybe the players wouldn't fuck with it. But it's just, I saw you do the same thing. It's my one problem with the Dan Campbell thing, and I'll stop at this. It's the one problem I have with the Dan Campbell business from 2 weeks ago. It wasn't that he didn't kick. It was, why did you not kick in the 3rd quarter, but then kick before half? I didn't understand.
Yeah,
that like, if you're going to go for it, if you're going to go for it, you're going to be that guy. Because it was 4th and 2 before halftime. It wasn't like it was 4th and 6. It was 4th and 2. So you've been doing this all year. Now you want to kick before why? Why is that the time you want to kick?
Yeah, and the Niners were like 3 of 12 from 3rd down. Yes, they weren't efficient. Brock Purdy was throwing a lot of balls in the dirt. He was like he was just not.
He wasn't very good.
Christian McCaffrey was the leading.
He wasn't very good.
He got the most targets.
No, Christian.
No. I don't think he had the most targets. But he had the
Debo had the most targets. Debo had 11 targets.
Debo had like 3 catches. 12 catches and 3 catches. 12 targets and 3 catches.
But the throws to Debo were terrible. They were bad for the most part. You know. But yeah, like. You can't be conservative and then also be inefficient, right? If you're going to be conservative and you're efficient, hey, you know, if instead of being 3 for 11, you're 7 for whatever. It's a different game. If the Niners were efficient and he was being conservative, it's a different game because chances are they're now in the red zone. But when you're at 3rd and 12, 3rd and 15, like all these 3rd and longs they were in yesterday, like it doesn't help that your game plan is to throw short.
I think the running the ball point is overstated though. Like a lot of times when we get in these spots, and it's just people just act like running the ball is like the magic elixir is just going to fix everything. Like Christian McCaffrey had 80 yards and 22 carries yesterday. He wasn't that good running the ball because the Chiefs were like, "Yo, we're just not going to let him do it." Like if we lose the Super Bowl because Brock Purdy wants to go do whatever the fuck Brock Purdy does when he's going well, fine, we lose it that way. They just weren't letting them run, and they were loading up the box. Now, one could say that there should have been an adjustment made. Fine, if you want to do that, but like they weren't running the ball because they would have been running directly into 8 people. Number one, and number two, they didn't run the fucking ball that effectively when they did. Now, should they have ignored Christian McCaffrey for a quarter? No, that's where nuance comes in. Obviously, they shouldn't have done that. I get that, fine. But it's just like, oh, they should have like, oh, the Chiefs didn't stop the run well all year. They stopped it well last night.
Right.
That's what mattered.
But you know what was the confusing thing too? Oh, before I go, Case.
Go
I think Greenlaw got hurt too. And the funny thing with the Chiefs, I want to say right quick, and someone in the group chat was pointing,
popped his Achilles running onto the field,
which is crazy.
One of the saddest injuries I've ever seen.
It
was so sad.
It's insane. Yeah, but it's like, what was it? I don't think even when Greenlaw was out, and he was out for a while, the Chiefs didn't really target Kelce until like deep into the second half, or like any of their tight ends. It's just like.
They were targeting the tight ends. San Francisco,
they got to Gray a couple of times, but like they weren't like they didn't target. I mean, obviously they targeted Kelce one time in the first half, and then like somewhere midway through the third quarter, they started to pepper old boy who replaced Greenlaw because he must have he got targeted like 10 times. He gave up like 10 catches. I think he gave up 10 catches. He had himself an evening, but I mean, but also if you pay attention to how to Kev's point about the running situation, the Falcons and the Patriots that year, it was the same thing. It was the same thing. It was like, yo, why are you guys playing? But except like there was a clear point in that game where if the Falcons ran the ball 2 times and kicked the field goal, they might have won a Super Bowl.
Right, but it's just deciding when, like you said, the whole like not giving McCaffrey the ball in the third quarter, like when to do
that was
like
insane.
They went away from the run, and it's like, all right, Purdy's not getting you in third and manageables passing.
I mean, it was McCaffrey,
right? But
that's not the point.
But the thing is, they had 3 first downs. There were 3, 4, whatever on third downs. But when they had efficient drives, they were because they were third and manageables, right? There weren't a lot of big plays. You know, the first touchdown with the handoff, the throw to Johnson to McCaffrey, he ran it in, a little trick play, whatever. That was cute. But other than that, there was not a lot of forward motion on offense, right? Until the fourth quarter when they finally figured out what to do. But tight end play, Kittle was on the shits for a long time. You know, Usyk,
their receivers they were in hell, bro.
It felt like they were going to use Usyk more, and they went away from that. It was like, yo, he can block. He could catch. You need to keep him on the field. Why are you guys not running a little bit more 12 personnel, especially when Deebo got hurt? Like you need to get him active. You need to get something going to get the ball moving down the field. And especially if you're calling as conservative as you're calling, you need to use every fucking body if you're going to play that way. Because you haven't done anything to take the top off the defense for the majority of the game outside of one play. So, you know, that may be his hang up. I don't know how coaches get over the hang up. I don't know if there's a history of coaches who get over that hang up. Like, yo, he's too conservative or whatever.
I mean, Andy Reid's a perfect example. He had that clock management issue in Philadelphia for God knows how long. Came to the Chiefs, had that same issue until he got a better quarterback. And then now he's
until he got
a better quarterback. He got a better quarterback. All right. A better quarterback. I don't know. He got a better quarterback. And then all of a sudden those issues change. So that's what happens. If Kyle
are we going to say that Shanahan needs a better? Are we going to say that Shanahan needs a better quarterback? Like, I don't like. That's what I'm saying. Like, what are we going to say going on? Like,
hey man, sometimes you just lose, bro. Like it kind of is what it is. Like I'm not here to say that Shanahan is faultless with what went on in the 3 Super Bowls. Like I think he's given too much fault with what happened with the Atlanta one. Because if Devonta Freeman just lays a fucking hand, a breath on Dante Hightower, Taylor Gabriel's still running. He dialed up the perfect fucking play. Guy was wide open. Devonta Freeman blocked nobody. And the better blocker of the two, which is Tevin Coleman, of course, got hurt before that because that's just what the Patriots' luck was for like 20 years. Everything they needed just magically happened. But whatever, I'm not bitter or anything. I think he got too much heat for that last night. Like I feel like you could legitimately look at him for the overtime stuff and not the fucking receiving the ball, whatever. Do you? The kicking the field goal is crazy to me. So you can look at him for that. Throughout the game, it's like, hey man, the Chiefs game plan was simple. We think your receivers can't beat us. They played cover one like 60% of the time, bro. Your receivers can't beat us. We dare you to beat us. And if you beat us, you're gonna win. That's it. Like that's how they played, and they didn't. Kittle didn't show up. Ayuk wasn't particularly good, even though like granted he was wide open for the touchdown, and Chris Jones blew up the fucking play. Like Debo's not really a traditional wide receiver
open
anyway.
Debo was open on that play and he overthrew that.
Right, because Chris Jones blew up the fucking play again. Because you know Chris Jones just does these things, and but
also Brock Purdy was kind of taking too long. Whatever, man. We'll move on to the next topic because he started pissing on Brock Purdy, game manager. Yes, the answer is yes. The answer is yes, unequivocally. Yes.
Before you start, I want to kind of set the stage for the conversation because we disagree on this, but I want clarity just so I know exactly what I'm arguing. What constitutes a game manager? Like it are like just all the non-elite players game managers?
What Cam Newton was talking about, continues to talk about, and what Stephon was debating and finally admitted to. Mm-hmm. In that regard, we saw 2 quarterbacks game manage and 1 quarterback game change. And that 1 quarterback that game changes a lot more or just as well as he game manages. Brock Purdy is a game manager, and he may have a game-changing play like that big run. I think that was an NFC Championship.
Yes.
Yeah, that big run, but he's not going to do it consistently. So to Cam's point, can a game manager be a game changer? Yes, they can make game-changing plays. But when it comes down to it, and when the ball is in the person's hand, who you want them to go out there and win that game for them, right now, I don't think it's Brock Purdy.
So when did we change the definition of game manager? Because that's not what it's ever been, really. Like game manager's always been like I said I was going to do it. Alex Smith is like the quintessential game manager. Not going to take no risk. Not going to put the ball in harm's way.
Correct.
The coaches are not really going to ask him to do a whole lot. Just don't lose us the game, right?
Right.
So when did we move off of that is kind of what I'm asking. Like Cam thinks what he thinks, and that's fine. Like he can think what I don't agree with him, but he can think whatever the fuck he thinks. But since when did we all like Brock Purdy? Like I saw a whole bunch of I told you so's, and Cam was right. And I'm just like, I don't understand how that game proved anything in either direction.
The way it was coached, they were playing for them not to lose. Like that was a game manager game. That was the way the game was called. Again, it's hard to say what you're saying and then take away from the Chiefs and their defense and how That's
it sounds like we're doing exactly that.
But
listen, I don't think it was called for them to game manage the game. Like Steve Spagnuolo and an elite defense made them look that way.
I don't think the Chiefs dominated on defense.
What did you watch then?
To other performances.
They did dominate their passing game.
I don't think they dominated. Did. Like, oh my God, he could
look at the weapons San Francisco has and look at the output.
Look at the coach. Look at the game plans. Look at the penalties.
I mean, Brock Purdy had
there's a lot of factors.
Brock Purdy had 100 yards in the first quarter, and he had 23 for 2 quarters.
Right, he had an uneven game. Like he was fine in the fourth, he was fine in the first. He was not good in between. That's what it was.
Do I think that a game?
Kyle was calling games like he was scared of him. I don't think that was.
Is that a game?
And Brock Purdy is not a game manager because it's like he's gotten very lucky. Like I said last time, he got very lucky with some of his throws throughout the last few games.
Like the thing is, Brock Purdy think he got more ability than he does. Yeah. That's not a game manager. Just by what we grew up on and what we've been talking about forever. That's not a game manager. And if it's simply like if you're not an elite, you're a game manager, then I have nothing to argue. Because sure, he damn sure is not fucking elite. But right. No, I don't think he's a game manager because he doesn't fucking play like one. And the coach doesn't coach him like he's one either.
Well, again, the way I'm interpreting how Cam Newton been trying to say it,
But I'm not talking
is
about Cam
that,
Newton's definition anymore. I'm just
well, I
talking
mean
about the
that,
whole top.
but that's
I'm talking about the topic.
that's where it
Since when
started. It
did
started
the
from.
authority that? When did he change the fucking top?
It doesn't matter if he's the authority. It's the hot button topic. It doesn't matter if he's the authority. It's a hot button topic. Like we talk
Right, but
about
it
Troy.
doesn't have
Listen,
a
we
set
talk about Troy.
definition. I'm not talking
When I
about
said
Cam's
Troy,
definition.
listen. When I said Troy Aikman and Alex Smith, you said don't disrespect Troy Aikman, but
Correct.
it's kind of disrespecting Alex Smith because Alex Smith
No, oh my God, what are you doing? No.
Alex Smith had
How
better
could we be
game
disrespecting
managing
Alex Smith
numbers
by comparing Troy Aikman to him? Please,
because he had better game managing numbers and his playoff
bro.
numbers.
He played
aren't
20
bad.
years after Troy Aikman.
Hey,
did,
listen,
man.
listen. I don't make the rules. I just state my opinions.
Apparently, Cam Newton does. Apparently,
no, the hot button conversation was
yes.
Cam Newton correct. I don't care about the overlying definition of where we were because things often change based on the times that we're in. And right now, if we were to say anything about that game, was he more of a game manager or a game changer that game? And if you're going to say, well, if we do that, we're taking away from the Chiefs, then are we taking away from San Francisco, who was playing very well again on defense against Mahomes, but yet he still figured out how? Like that's what I'm saying. You can't. It's not a catch-22, but you put yourself in a position where you're arguing the same thing in different ways. Like Mahomes wasn't that great on offense yesterday either. Yet when he needed to be, he was. He made the game-changing plays. So that right there, yesterday was a perfect example of game manager, game changer. If we were making a definition or just saying aligning with what Cam was trying to say in the type of conversation, that's what he means. 4th and 1, you do a RPO with Mahomes. You don't give it to Pacheco, you don't give it to nobody else. You gave it to your best player. 3rd and 5, not saying he should have ran the ball 35, but 3rd and 5, and you need to get the first down, and you know Spags is coming up with this all-out blitz. You don't set up nothing for your quarterback to make a play. He had no opportunity to make a play. There was Christian McCaffrey was in the backfield. He went to block on the right side. The DB came straight through the left, untouched. Purdy saw him, step back, and just launched it. Like, you know what I mean? If that's Mahomes, and we've seen Mahomes get blitzed a lot yesterday, that doesn't happen. He was escaping the pocket. He was climbing the pocket. He was making plays.
Well, Purdy,
with his legs and his feet.
This is like what, his 2nd or 3rd year as a starter? It's still early in his career. Maybe he maybe he does that in the future. He's not doing that right now.
I don't know.
Right now.
As I said, and then like on top of everything else here, it's like Brock Purdy performed better against the same defense that Lamar stunk against 2 weeks earlier. So it's like if we're doing the whole game manager thing, he's not this and he's not that. Okay, then Cam got to take the fucking L for 2 weeks ago too. If we're gonna go by this same logic, that's what it is. True.
That's a valid point. But did Lamar Jackson play like how he would normally play against the Chiefs? Not really. It didn't seem like he was. It seemed like he was trying to stay in the pocket. It didn't seem like he was trying to do dynamic things. It felt like he was trying to stay in the pocket and throw the ball more.
I mean, I don't think that's none of that says anything against my point.
No. What I'm saying is, did he play like he wanted to be the dude who won with his legs if he had to, or did he play like someone who had a point to prove? Like, I'm going to stay in the pocket and beat you. Like, we're talking about him getting into.
So it's almost like he should have managed the game better.
we get into semantics, but
no, I'm not. But no. Let me. I'm not getting into semantics because game manager is quite literally part of the goddamn job. Number one, it's part of the job. A game manager is part of the job. Cam Newton also called Tom Brady the greatest game manager of all time. I agree with him. He 100% is. I agree with him. And I don't know if, based on Cam's definition of game manager, I don't know if that's a fucking pejorative or a compliment. I have no idea because everybody who's not elite is a game manager. And I Cam is one man with one opinion. I don't know when he became the gospel on this. And yes, he has influence, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. I have no idea when he became the gospel on this because we're simply arguing based on what Cam Newton said. And that's it. We've been doing this for weeks. It's been going on for weeks.
But all right, so if we took away from what Cam Newton said, right, and we don't have this conversation, game manager versus game changer. If we were just basing off of what we watched, there's a clear difference to what an elite quarterback is, and maybe what you would say a system quarterback is.
Of course. No
Right.
shit, but every quarterback in the league ain't elite or game manager. Like that's kind of that's all I'm saying.
Well, I mean, I think if we're saying a part of being elite is you know how to turn it on and off.
Right.
And I think Cam was trying to allude to that, like when you turn it on and off. It just feels like those guys don't have an on switch because, again, you have a good game doesn't mean that you're consistently going to do this. Doesn't mean you're going to rise to the occasion. Now, can it change down the line? Can Brock, like to Jude's point, can Brock Purdy become an elite quarterback? Of course, all signs show that it's possible. But to be honest with you, the way he throws the ball, I don't think so. Because he was throwing a lot of shit in the dirt. Like there were some bad. And Kevin said it last week for the preview, for Super Bowl preview, that eventually, you said it too, Jude, that he's going to throw an interception. He damn near tried. He damn sure tried to throw an interception. So that's what I'm saying. Like, can that guy transform and be something better than what he is? I don't know. With the amount of talent that he had here, the offensive player of the year, with that talent that he had, like Brock Purdy had an MVP type season. He's going to get paid if he has another season like he had, like next. He's going to get paid like handsomely, and he's going to be a 49er for a long time unless he shits the bed. So the Niners are in a very, very particular situation where the question was, is the window closing for San Francisco?
Look at the NFC. Who's beating them? Maybe the Packers.
San Francisco know how to beat themselves. Like, I mean, it's not like they're a perennial, right? So since things changed over, they've been to what? 3 Super Bowls, 3 Super Bowls, like 5
NFC champions. Yeah,
right. So San Francisco eventually figures it out. I think that's more so to do with John Lynch and the organization. They figure it out because they've done it with different coaches at different times, different quarterbacks, different defenses as well. And I think they had even a more elite defense when it was Alex Smith and Colin Kaepernick at quarterback. They were way better defensively at that time. Now, if you're saying the window's closing, I don't think how old is Fred Wagner? I don't think he's that much older. San Francisco always learns how to pick well. They always, leverage and gets more picks. They just traded the quarterback they should have drafted. Oh man! But they figure it out. San Francisco figures it out, and also there was an article to their benefit about them hiring minority hires and getting the compensatory picks, and people were upset about that. And it's like, hey, if you hire more minority hires, that is part of it. So I think I think the Niners will be fine going forward. But I also think that they have to figure out eventually, when it comes for contract time for Brock Purdy, is he going to be the guy? And the only way Brock Purdy can prove if he's the guy is if they go back to the Super Bowl and they win the Super Bowl. But if he has another good season, but they don't win it all, it's like it's going to be an interesting time for San Francisco going forward. I'm not too sure, but let's move on. There's always that one person that will always have your heart. I've kept the word.
Cases grooves.
Because you're blinded from the start. That. We can see. Obey. Dirty Mac Usher. Wow. Usher is a dirty Mac, Kev. But not in his music.
Is he?
He's a dirty Mac, but not in his music. It's the dancing. And we should have seen it all along. All Usher does is sing well and dances into Our Lady's hearts. It's because if you listen, his songs there's Good Kisser, there's My Boo, and all that stuff. You don't have to call. Usher has some great songs. Are any of those songs Dirty Mac songs, Kev?
No. Not that I recall. There might be a couple of them, but not that I recall.
Not on Joe levels. Not on Joe.
No, Joe is not. That's like comparing Mahomes to Brock Purdy. No, Joe is like the Mahomes of the Dirty Mac. Like, no.
But what we didn't see, and I had to do some research. Usher Dirty Macs by dancing. That's what he does, bro. That's what he does. He's been doing it.
He said, "Don't leave your girl around me." True player for real. That's my nigga for real.
He should have said
that's a quote.
True dancer for real. Okay, because Let's go back. Usher, My Way, Tyrese video. What was the ending of that video?
I haven't watched that video so many years. I don't
A fucking dance battle. A dance battle.
Right.
You don't remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. No, you're talking about
how did he win? He won a dance battle. And then he went to go dab Tyrese and he slid back and grabbed his nuts. Hold my dick. Remember that?
Yes.
That's every time we see Usher stealing the chick, he's dancing. He can sing, but he's dancing his way into these women's drawers. And what does this dirty son of a bitch do? He has a Vegas residency. And what's he doing in his residency? Singing and dancing all these married women, breaking up happy homes.
I mean, were the homes really happy if he broke them up?
No, they weren't.
All right. I just want a clarification.
No, but remember the controversy with him? We talked about the controversy with him and
that shit.
Yeah, what's her name? Kiki Palmer.
And then the same dude who was going crazy turned out to be an abusive
son of a bitch.
Shocker.
Yeah.
Shocker.
Yeah, shocking.
Oh wait, that was
although
him.
She's a bozo.
I was about to make that joke that was him with Kiki. I was about to make that joke that maybe Kiki saw the vision after all.
Listen, Kiki saw the vision and got dressed up and went out there and Usher danced. He danced his way in between the relationship, right? He's been doing it, and everybody making the jokes. My girl going to see Usher and he blah blah. How you gonna feel? And now, what does Usher do on the biggest stage in sports? Alicia Keys on that big red ass piano, dressed like a freaking superhero, looking thick and beautiful. What does Usher do? He gives her the hug from behind.
So many funny captions with that.
Yes.
Now, Kev, we know the type of hugs that are out there. It's the church hug, when you arms here, but your pelvis is out. You know what I mean? It's the side hug, which don't touch me, nigga. I'm being nice. That hug, side hug. It's the long embrace, 3 seconds or more.
Yeah, that could be.
And it's that infamous hug from behind. That's initiated by the man. Because he knows he could do that shit. And he gets away with it. We know what type of hug. And what did Usher do? What did he do? He did that shit.
Hey, man, they were performing.
No.
They were performing. It's art. It's art.
Please, Kev. Please.
It's art. It's performing. Swiss Beats would agree with me.
He was
Swiss Beats would agree with me on this.
He was sweating.
But they were performing.
Look. I gotta get this. I gotta.
Swiss Beats is secure in what he has at home, so all of that was performative. Like we don't have to make more of this than it is. It's way funnier to pretend it's something else.
Stop it.
It's way funnier to pretend like Usher is trying to step into the home or trying to ruin the home. But Swiss Beats is secure in what he has.
The funniest caption
it's not like Swiss Beats has a history of stepping out on women and getting with other ones.
Oh no!
Oh my god!
No, Alicia Keys ruined Swiss Beats' previous marriage.
Oh
yeah. Swiss Beats stepped out on Mashonda. Right, yeah.
Mashonda.
Swiss Beats stepped out on Mashonda with Alicia Keys, and then Alicia Keys' voice went to hell ever since. But that's another topic for another day.
That's what you think happened?
Another topic for another. But I don't. Who the fuck asked for Alicia Keys in the fucking Super Bowl in 2024, man? Like I saw her come out, I was so mad. Like, and I knew she was gonna be there, but like I saw her come out, I was like, bro, like Alicia Keys' like voice, the good voice that she used to have. Granted, like it was never a great voice. Like the piano and the music hit, but it wasn't because of her voice we were there. But she used to actually just stay in her lane. Like there's a lane, there's some notes she's supposed to be hitting, there's some notes she's not supposed to try. She doesn't agree with that anymore. So she's doing this shit. She came out. I just took the moment and looked at her. Like she looked great. Good for her. She hasn't really aged much. Great. Love that for her. Didn't listen to a word she said. I mentally clocked out until she was off the screen. So there's that. But yeah.
Jude, keep it real. Because Kev's not keeping it real, so keep it real, Jude.
We want Jude to keep it real. Might as well just end the program. What are we doing?
The funniest caption I saw was someone saying, "This is your girl and her work husband." That was honestly the only one that was the only one. But I mean, I'm not too hip. I'm not too hip into pop culture, so I don't know much about what's going on with Alicia Keys, Usher, and Swiss, I guess. But
you don't gotta be hip to the culture. Would you let your lady get a reverse hug from Usher?
I mean, what am I going to do? I'm Jude. He's Usher. What exactly am I doing? Am I going to rush up on stage and be like, "Yo, get off my woman"? I'm like, okay.
Yeah, man, fight. You got to fight for yours.
You kind of know what the deal is. If they're going to an Usher concert, you kind of know what the deal could be. That's all it is.
Don't do that to yourself, bro. Fight for your woman, bro.
I'm not fighting Usher. Why? So security guards can get me out of here?
So that's a concert. You just got to fight. You just got to fight him. Period. You got to challenge him after. You got to put a scathing Instagram post out later. You're like, yo, I don't appreciate that. Disrespect.
Yeah, I'm sure Usher doesn't have people he could call.
I mean, yes, his song says you don't have to call, so I don't know.
That's exactly the joke I was going for. Thanks. But he doesn't have to call. He really doesn't have to call to deal with Jude.
Wow, that's crazy, Jude. That's disrespect. Wow. Hey man, listen. All I'm saying. Listen, all I'm saying is
white Jude out, bro.
All I'm saying is, okay. This is what I'm saying. You see where his hand? Let me take the brand banner off. You see where his hand is at? You see where that hand is? The hand placement. That's not good, bro. Yeah, you see that's. Hey man. Hey, look at that smile.
God forbid friends are affectionate with each other.
Okay. All right, Kev. All right. I forgot Kev's a dirty Mac himself. I
just like how Case set me up. Hypothetical situation.
Yo, God forbid friends are affectionate with each other. That's good. You've never held a friend like that?
No. No.
You can't even say that with a straight face.
I couldn't keep a straight face at all.
No.
I could that bad faith ass question, bro.
Listen. And you know what that hug is? Because we hug one from behind and you rock with her like this and you smile. You know what that hug is. You know what that Usher know what he was doing, bro.
Like they're just good friends, man.
Yeah, all right, man. Oh man. Well, we're coming towards the end of our show. And before we go, we always got to do one special thing.
It's the moment you've all been waiting for. Pull up a seat and get off your feet for Jude's Grooves.
It's Jude's Grooves, ladies and gentlemen. Jude, what are we grooving on tonight?
Just read it. You'll understand instantly what's going on. Just read it.
Oh, I think I know this lyric. Bitches ain't shit, but hoes and tricks. Lick on these nuts and suck the dick. Get the fuck out after you're done. Then I hops in my coupe to make a quick run. Bitches ain't shit, but hoes and tricks. Lick on these nuts, then suck the dick. Get the fuck out after you're done. And I hops in my coupe to make a quick run to the store to get me a 4-0 Snoop Doggy Dogg page. That must be more hoes. So I head down the streets to Long Beach, just so I could make it freak to lick me from my head to my feet. And I'm here. Now I'm ready to be done up. Nothing but homies around, so I puts my gun up. Bitches on my nuts like clothes, ha. But I'm from the pound and we don't love them hoes. How could you trust a hoe? Cause a hoe's a trick. I don't love them tricks, cause a trick's a bitch. And my dick's constantly in her mouth. Telling them trick ass hoes to fuck out now. I once had a bitch named Mandy May. Used to be all on them guts like every day. The pussy was the bomb. Had a nigga on sprung. I was in love like a motherfucker, licking the pearl tongue. What? What? I have to stop right. No. The homie used to tell me that she wasn't no good. But I'm the maniac in black, Mr. Snoop Eastwood. So I figured niggas wouldn't trip with mine. Guess what? Got gaffled by one time. I'm back to the motherfucking county jail. 6 months on my chest. Now it's time to bail. I get released on a hot sunny day. My nigga DOC, and my homie Dr. Dre. Scoop in the coop. Snoop, we got news. Your girl was tricking while you was draped in your county blues. I ain't been out a second, and I already gotta do some motherfucking chin checking. Move up the blocks as we grew up the block. See my girl's house. Dre, pass the clock. Oh. Kicking the door. I look on the floor. It's my little cousin Das, and he's fucking my hoe, yo. I unlocked my shit. I'm a heartbroke, but I'm still locked, man. Fuck a bitch. Bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks. Lick on these nuts, then suck the dick. Get the fuck out after you're done, and I hop in my coops to make a quick run. Bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks. Lick on these nuts, then suck the dick. Get the fuck out after you're done. Then I hop in my coupe to make a quick run. I have to go back to this one lyric. I was in love like a motherfucker.
Kato Mate, my brother. Kato.
I was in love like a motherfucker, licking the pearl tongue. But he just said he was all in them guts like every day. The pussy was the bomb. So
sounds like he's versatile.
When I'm seeing pearl tongue, I'm thinking, and sorry for it being explicit, I am thinking he finished inside of her, and then he's finishing the job. Like he's getting the leftovers.
God. Oh God, I gotta mute your mic, bro. Like what?
Yo,
where are we going? Where are we going?
He said fucking pearl tongue. Pearls are white. What else is white that happens? Pearls are white.
Oh,
so
God.
Yes, I'm wondering what exactly is going on. And then he's talking about his. Yes, I am wondering what's going on here. What is going on?
God,
what is going on? And then he's talking about his cousin.
My favorite Juice Groove moment ever.
He's talking about his cousin. So he walks in the house and his cousin's fucking her. Like
follow me on social media at AK Online.
Keep going, Juice. Don't let him stop.
Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at our podcast.
Why is he taking on cocks and shit? Like, what's going on here? Like,
we cannot post Juice Goose on TikTok. Follow us at middle_ninja_pod on TikTok.
Like, is this a double entendre? Like, is he seeing this happening? Like, yeah, let me join in now. Can we make room for two here? Like, is that what he's...
Follow Kevin Lewis at KLEW24.
What's that?
to the only team that matters on YouTube with Coley Mick. Shout out to the Underdog Fantasy Network. Follow the loquacious one at Jude Truth.
What is he doing? What is he doing?
Oh man.
Yo, this is the best laugh I've had in a week.
Jude, we already know your final thoughts, so we don't have to go any further.
Yes.
Show is over. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see y'all next week. Stay inspired by 59.